Just answering questions with waptek. All the people who can think and critically analyze know that if something is banned or censored or removed, then it has to be true. Therefore, if YouTube removes something, it must be true. No. If someone says, the other version of this is, when people start complaining that you're lying, you're onto something. Basically, if you find out from someone you're wrong, and they say they know better, you can either have your ego bruised, or you can make these kind of assertions. So let's go on. I've done a few videos about Delphi, Indiana, and people who are no longer with us. So someone decided to post this. Delphi, Indiana, cop car near Monmouth High Bridge, Google Map, Street View. And I asked the person to explain what they were talking about. Then the video was me explaining, if you're going to make an assertion like that, you can't tell me where it was. And the idea was I wasn't meant to find it. This was a simple, are you going to bother responding to my comment thing. But anyway, this brought up someone's comments over the last 24 hours. Any cop cars have GPS memory, don't they? Again, the original person refused to tell me where this police car was so visible in Google Street View. And by the way, eventually I was told it was several miles away and has nothing to do with this. It was a speed trap. But that's something somebody told me, and they didn't tell me where it is either. And neither are you. But as for GPS memory, we're how many years late now? When the vehicles are brought in, all the data logs and files they created, whatever incident where the person hit the panic button, or maybe it was set to randomly sample what they were doing so they could catch a cop, taking a long break or whatever. That information is uploaded or downloaded, depending on which way you want to say it, when they park at the police station. The idea that, well, let's look for something we can ask for that maybe they can say no to, so we can say, aha, we got a smoking gun. And what you're talking about is GPS logs. GPS recordings indicate where a vehicle's been. They can be extremely compressed data, and they're normally called logs. Next question. What about someone named Logan who got drunk for a day? There weren't any questions to him, and he was paid to go get drunk. And another thing of a cop happening to be paid to watch the outer perimeter of the city police something. And this gets really vague, and I think the grammar's broken. Several hours before the two girls were dropped off, long before they went missing and ended up being dead, they were dropped off at a hiking trail east of town. And many hours before that, 77-year-old owner of a property named Ron Logan had driven to a dump site. And that got him a 3-year prison sentence because he had been on probation and forbidden from driving because of his habitual 7-year drunk driving, arrest, and conviction habit. He'd been put on probation. All he had to do was never drive anymore. He drove that day. His alibi got him into jail for 7 years. Got him into jail for 3 years. Now, I don't know if you understand this, but they know where he drove the car, and they did search the area. But why would you go to a dump, and what would you dispose of there? Now, somebody did something that got them arrested, but they have to be guilty of being the murderer. But the police obviously wouldn't pin that on him. Why? So you're assuming the police are, for some reason, throwing someone in jail for 3 years, but they're not going to convict him of something while they've got him dead to rights in jail, and could just search his car, search the locations it went to, maybe look at traffic cams to see some more data. And this isn't contradicting my video where I explain to people that if you're going to claim a police car was at a specific location, but you don't tell me the specific location, you're just sending me off on a goose chase. But he was paid to go get drunk for the day so he wouldn't be around? That's the assertion you're making, right? Then wouldn't he say, I was paid to go off and do it? No, I don't think he's made that claim. Has he? I'm supposed to look this up and wild goose chase it? If you're going to make an assertion, make it complete. So let's do the next thing that was posted. I put up a video where I refer to terrorist rioters calling cops traitors and murderers because the Capitol Police officers, were in their way when they wanted to take all of our rights away from us to pick a president so that the president can't be that powerful. Donald Trump has been removed from office because he's a despot in waiting, a dictator to be. And I also pointed out that there's somebody who's named in this, and it'll be listed below. I said Trump's FBI wouldn't investigate the followers, but the new FBI that's been unhinged and unchained might. And I said the real FBI, not Trump's. So someone said, when you said the real FBI, I almost fell off my chair laughing. You really believe it, too, at 3 minutes and 19 seconds. Or I might have been playing it up as a joke, but the point is, Trump being investigated by people he put in power versus the new president who's saying, you're going to investigate Trump. None of us really believe Trump is going to get put in jail or anything's going to happen to him because he's too powerful. And it would really break everybody's worldview if he actually really did get punished as much as he should be. The fact is, I just want one punishment. He's never permitted to run for office again. I don't care about anything else. And I want everybody who supported him to be put on a watch list. People who ignore reality and repeat fake statements bother me and everybody else who's rational. Then he says, I got a serious question for you. What would you want to happen to every single one of these individuals in this list? If the FBI came out against Biden with hardcore evidence of massive voter ballot or illegal law tampering evidence against hundreds of people that conspired together to cheat, I'm assuming you're referring to rigging an election, but only just enough so Trump could lose by a few thousand votes. I want him removed from office, along with Kamala Harris. But again, for the umpteenth fucking time, every piece of evidence presented by conspiracy theorists, aka truthers, has been tainted with at least one lie, because they can't stop lying. By posting something with a lie in it, you make it to where people will immediately point that out so you can filter them out. People who are doing this cannot resist the temptation to do that. They have to lie at least once. It's like the joke about the devil. It's really not the devil that joke is about. It's about leaders of groups of people that are true believers and zealots. You challenge their faith by lying to them and waiting for anybody to point it out so you can filter them out so that you can have a dedicated group of people that will never question what you say, which is exactly what Trump has been doing for 4 years. He's a cult leader. And you're kissing his ass. There isn't any evidence that's been presented or even claimed by any of the people with Trump. They just make an assertion and refuse to provide evidence. He's spent the last X number of months refusing to provide evidence, withholding it. This is sort of like Trump not wanting to reveal the information that was going to become declassified automatically about the JFK shooting. He could have just sat down and done nothing, but the only thing he was allowed to do that would get him in the newspaper was to slow it down. Donald Trump restricted access and removed disclosure concerning the John F. Kennedy sealed files. Does that bug you? That's what he did. You're going to rewrite history? Go ahead. Well, what if the FBI came out against Biden? What if they came out against Biden with evidence? Donald Trump and his cronies and every state that's certified would have the evidence. None of them were offered anything. They even lied about whether something was a table. A table. A fucking pencil. the amount of effort people go through on your side of this non-argument by lying, it's a giant red flag to anybody who's even a little bit smart. Finally, an assertion. Videos removed concerning ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine for COVID-19. That proves they must be true because YouTube removed them. Except if you type in hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin, you can find the videos. They're not censored. Certain people's channels have been taken down. Some copies have been taken down. But they don't really remove any of it. And specifically, ivermectin. There's dozens of videos. The claim is that if YouTube bans it, it must be true. So if YouTube didn't ban it, it must be a lie. If someone like me contradicts you by pointing out you're saying something that isn't true or misquoting something, or if I read back what you're quoting without misquoting it, if I include the detail that you left out, if I don't include the detail you lied about, it's not that I'm proving you right by literally showing people you lied. It's that I'm showing people you lied. Trying to spin doctor it into something else doesn't work. All of the politicians and lawyers and advocates that want Trump to be winner weren't able to combat something like 80 million people in America who voted against the son of a bastard. And now their only defense is to try to make it to where they can prevent people from voting so that they don't have to deal with that anymore. And they still ignore the fact that the reason Donald Trump lost is because he pissed off a bunch of people who originally voted for him. And they're not willing to say anything in public because they know how vindictive his followers are, because they behave like him. People stating facts have been punished by Trump. He punishes people who disagree with him. It's sort of like someone putting at least one little lie in a story so that when you point it out, they punish you by locking you out because you're double-checking what they're saying. Critical thinking is punished, but you think you're critical thinkers for going along with a herd. You are sheeple. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that.